How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here, and today we are going to be talking about our first impressions of Diablo Immortal. This is a new game from Blizzard that started on mobile, but it's also PC, and the mobile version came out about 2 days ago, a day ago, something like that. I've been playing a lot of it. I was able to link my Battle.net account and connect it to my PC, which I am now playing on, so all progress carried over, so that was great. So I've played both versions of the game, and I wanted to talk about it, my impressions of it, and just give you a good idea on what it is so you can see if it's something that's for you or maybe not. So we're going to break this video down into a few sections. We're going to talk about the core gain systems first. So that's going to be like Endgame, what do you do during leveling, how does the game even work. Then we're going to talk about the shop, which is something that's a big concern in this game. I know there's a lot of talk about pay to win, and yeah, it's definitely kind of there. So that's going to be something that you're going to want to be aware of before you dive in. So we're going to be talking about that, the shop, and how that functions. And then finally, we'll take a look at gameplay, which is just going to be showing you how the game feels, like how it plays out. So we'll go ahead and first talk about the core game systems. So Diablo is pretty straightforward from what you would expect in most Diablo-style games. This is the inventory system, or what would be an equipment type deal here. So you can have armor pieces, you know, your standard like helmet, chest, all that good stuff. The main core system of this game seems to be centered around gems, mainly legendary gems, which are things that you can put in your armor sockets, not your jewelry. This is going to be your main armor pieces, and each legendary gem will kind of change the way you play the game. It's essentially a second talent system, so it's a very important functionality of everything. At the top here, you're going to have this sort of resonance rating, so like the better items you get and the more socketed and geared and refined they are, that's going to increase your base attributes, so it's just going to be like a scaling power level. And then we also have like a jewelry section over here, which is the same thing. It's going to have sockets where you can put in gems that do, small gems that like do things like damage or resistance or armor, so that's going to be the general theme of this. They are colored, so certain gems only fit in certain sockets, so you're going to have to take that into account when you do find a piece of gear or something like that. And then you also have a charm socket, which unlocks later once you've leveled up past the higher levels. I think 60 is the cap, so you'll be able to socket that in, and that will also change the way some of your abilities are shaped and go with things like that. So there's a lot of builds in this game. You get a few skill sets, and we'll go ahead and take a look at this recommended build section, because this will give you a good idea into what to expect. So all these builds are pretty interesting. They definitely have their own unique aspect, but you can see that you're going to want to match your skill sets with the type of legendary armor pieces and legendary gems that you have to have the best synergy for everything that's going on. So once you've figured out a unique build that works for you, you can stack the certain legendary items that you want, and then you can socket them with the appropriate gems, and that's going to be how you design and pick your character. You can have 4 skills plus a primary skill, so it's kind of designed for mobile in that way. You can see here on the right side, I have 4 skills set up, and I can select from a big variety of skills. Actually, I can change my primary skill, so your main attack doesn't have to be that, but your primary skill will also be your ultimate skill. So the more you attack monsters, you're going to charge up, and you will finally reach an ultimate ability, so you'll be able to cast that once you have your meter full. Other than that, you can select from the basic skills, so you can go through and more unlock as you get higher and higher level. So you can put in damage skills or defensive skills or movement speed skills, whatever you want to do. You can mix and match and find a build that's unique for you, so it's very cool in that aspect. As far as the end game goes, I have seen a few activities that you can do. The main things are the Elder Rift, which is like a small dungeon that you can enter in with friends. You get rewards like runes and gems, and you can get legendary items and stuff like that. The only catch is that you can do a base version for free all the time, but if you want to power it up with increased chances for drops, you're going to need to use these things called rare crests, and then legendary crests, which are the yikes part. This might be the sort of pay to win part where you can buy these. They will give you a much higher chance for legendary items, but most importantly, they will give you a high chance for legendary gems that have ascended beyond 2 stars, which in this game there's a 1 to 5 star rating on the gems. So if you do happen to get a 5-star gem, it will be very, very powerful, and that's probably where most of the pay to win people are talking about, because you don't get a lot of these legendary crests as a free-to-play player. You get very few, but you can also just swipe your card and purchase the crest, so that's not good, but we'll talk about that in the shop section. Hopefully they adjust that a little bit and make it easier to earn some of these things, but there are ways to earn those crests, so it's not completely devoid. It's just the fact that somebody who pays money can just purchase infinite runs, essentially, right? Like they could just go over and over again. The next thing would be the Challenge Rift, which I really enjoy. The Challenge Rift is a personal ranking sort of system, so this is going to test your personal power. You can also join as a duo pair or a trio, as well as a 4-person group, and you will get rated based on that. There's a ranking for it, and you get rewards for clearing each one, and it scales up with power level, so you're eventually going to hit a point where you just can't go any further because either your build's not working, or your gear's not good enough, or your level's not high enough, whatever that may be. You're going to need something else to boost you there. And as you can see, we do have this leaderboard, so you can see per class where people are. So you can go ahead and search for wizards or barbarians, and then you can also see this 2-player and 3-player content. So there is like leaderboards for this, which I really like. And then you see this small section here called Warbands. This is something that we will have to kind of explain a little bit. So in this game there are 2 main systems. There is a warband, which consists of an 8-person team. You join together and you get bonuses for doing in-game activities. You will also get bonuses for like little achievements within your warband. You can even build a warband camp, so think of it like a small guild. There is also a clan, which is a guild that has a lot more people, up to 100 I believe, maybe even more when you expand it further. So that's going to be a different thing. Clans are separate from warbands, so you're going to have warband, which is like your group of friends, your team of 4, your team of 8, so that you could do the in-game content, and then you're going to have a clan at the end of that, so that's going to be something that you're going to want to check out. So speaking of that in-game content, there is also an 8-person raid, so the scene. You can queue up with random people too. There is a party finder, so that's something you could do to check out, but you can also just go in with your warband or whatever your team is. I've cleared this once already. It's actually quite fun, but you can see it's a giant boss. There's different difficulties. There's like hell difficulty later, difficulty 1 and 2, so when you get higher gear score or power level or combat rating, whatever it's recommending you to get, you can do more and you can start clearing out some of these bosses, and there are extra bosses available later on in the future, so I'm sure once you've got higher combat rating or also like level, you'll be able to unlock and see a lot of those, so that's something nice to check out. And then that's going to pretty much cover it for like most of the in-game activities. You can do stuff in the overworld as well, like search for chests, and there are like daily quests like this bestiary where you go and hunt monsters and you learn about them and you unlock stuff in the book and you get treasure. There are also little bounties, which is just daily quests that you can do. They take you to a random location, which I'll show you here at the end in the gameplay section, and you'll just do a series of quests. You'll get rewards based on that and experience as well. And then there are a few other small things, but most of this stuff is coming from your Codex, and the Codex is going to be like your guide to gaining XP and just generally what you should be doing in the game. So there are a few sections here. Achievements are just like simple things that like equipping legendary items or reaching a certain combat level or discovering a percentage of secrets in a zone. There's also a conquest, which just has to do with your personal growth, so how strong you are. The stronger you get, you'll get rewards for that, as well as player versus player things, which is something that we'll talk a little bit about here in a second too. And then we have the battle pass, which is going to be your main source of pretty much items and XP and all that stuff. The battle pass does cost $5 if you want to unlock the second tier of it, so this is lower tier. So this is, I guess you could consider that pay to win, but I feel like most games have a battle pass. But there are a lot of goods that you can get as you level up, and the bottom tier has a lot of really nice things, including those legendary gem things that you use to get legendary gems that you can pay to enter that rift thing. That's something that you will also obtain here, along with pretty much every other thing in the game, currency, all kinds of stuff like that. So purchasing, like if you're interested in the game, purchasing the battle pass for $5 is probably a good idea. It's definitely something that you can do to check out. And it will progress your character quite a lot. But the battle pass will be basically earned for free too, even if you don't want to purchase it. So you'll have things like featured activities. It'll recommend that you do this and that, and every time you do some sort of activity or challenge, you'll add to that treasure thing at the top, and once you reach the max level, you will unlock the reward for that tier. Your battle pass tier will go up, and you'll get a mass amount of XP, so you're going to be leveling up. And even once you hit 60, you're going to be entering Paragon levels, just like in Diablo 3, so you're going to keep leveling up. So you're going to be Paragon level 1, 2, 3, and you're going to get stronger and stronger as time goes on. So this is going to be a core like game system that you're going to be revolving around as this battle pass here. There is also PvP. I won't go too much into that, but I think there's a battleground type. From what I've seen, I haven't unlocked it quite yet, but there's also a Shadow and Immortal sort of battle going on. So Immortal would be the top whatever players on the server. Then the people can join to fight up against them, which would be the Shadows, and you can raid their vaults and take their goods or something like this. So I kind of like that they're pitting the top people against, you know, everybody else, and they get some sort of like power up. So it's kind of an interesting system. Haven't actually fully seen it play out yet. We're waiting on the timer to select people for the process and how all that goes. But once I get in there, I'll definitely dive into it and show you what it's all about. But I know that there is a Battlegrounds where you can join in with like 4 to 8 people, I believe, and you just go in and start smashing faces and PvP like that, and there's rewards for it. And then there's also that Immortal and Shadow system, which seems to be the main core PvP functionality that's going on here. So with that out of the way, that's pretty much going to be most of the systems in the game. There is some small thing called the Helliquary, which is something that will power you up over time. You can add these little like relics to it that you get from just killing bosses and doing challenges as your character progresses, which just makes you stronger in general. But that's going to be most of everything that you need to see. They also have a few events and things running today, so like if you log in or you do reach a certain level during a time period, all that stuff. You know, typical like daily type activities and like mobile game activities. So with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the shop now. This is going to be the controversial part because the shop is a little scummy in my opinion. We have a few things coming through here that are decent deals. I did purchase the Battle Pass, as you can see there, which was good for me because it gave me the ability to gain that second row, and I also purchased the whatever premium version of the Battle Pass. I think it was $15 instead of $5, so I spent $15 on the game to get this, which gave me some cosmetics and levels on my Battle Pass, so it made me get a little bit of a boost, I would say, in terms of some of the items that I can obtain there. Although I got a lot of in-game items and made mistakes and spent them on some things I shouldn't have, which is a topic for another video, but we'll go into that later. So the Battle Pass is definitely something good. I also bought this thing called a Boon of Plenty, which was $10, so I spent a total of $25 on the game, which gives me some sort of daily login reward that I get over the course of 30 days, so I figured it was good value. If I think of this like Genshin Impact's little like system where you get gems every day or whatever, I forget what it's called, a wish or something like that, you would get that every time you logged in, so I feel like that was a decent value for me. And then you get into the weird part, like when you first get into the game, it's like, hey, you want to buy this beginner's pack, it's only 99 cents, and you get this currency, this is called Eternal Orbs, which you can use to purchase those crests I was talking about before. You can buy those legendary crests, which get you legendary gems, which which is the yikes part. So it starts you off small, like 99 cents, and like, hey man, here's another pack that's 99 cents, you know? When you kill the first boss. Then it's like, oh, the next boss you kill, it's like, here's a pack that's $1.99. Yeah, you want that one? And it keeps going up, right? Like, you're like, are you kidding me? This is gonna happen? So you can see the scaling here. $1.99, $4.99, $6.99, $9.99. And I'm only level 45 or so I'm getting close to that level 60 marker, but I'm imagining there's like 3 or 4 more bosses that it's gonna have me purchase a pack for, and I'm guessing that pack's gonna go up, like, oh, this one's $15, this one's $20. So it's like the value on it they're claiming is like, yeah, this is a 240% value, and you get all these things, these legendary crest things, and it does look appealing, but I just don't like this idea of like, hey man, buy this pack for 99 cents, and then here's another one for $1. Yeah, now it's $2, now $3. It feels a little, I don't know, a little weird to me, right? Then they have some like different things, like you have little bundles and packs that you can get a bunch of materials for if you want to actually invest in the game, if you feel like it's for you. They also have cosmetics, as well as just like you can buy, I would compare this to like a gacha game. You could just buy gacha rolls, right? Like you just buy all this currency and then spend those on those legendary tokens, legendary crests, and then you just do the run, and then it's essentially a gacha, right? It's going to spit out a random legendary gem. It could be high stars, it could not be. So that's going to be the gacha system in this game. So Diablo does have a gacha system within it, and I think that's the part where people are talking about, like, is this pay to win, right? Like, and from my opinion, from what I've seen so far, yeah, I think it is pay to win to some degree. Like, you can definitely get ahead of other people by just buying those legendary crest packs, right? You are going to get stronger, you're going to get gems. Gems are the main source of power, especially if you can get high level gems. So that's going to boost you up. Can you earn it over time with as a free-to-play player? Yes, you can. You can get lucky. You can play the auction house and get that from other people. You can definitely spend a lot of time and invest a lot of time in the game and probably reach that point eventually, but anybody who spends money is just going to have a much easier time than you, right? So I guess it would be pay to advance faster. Same deal as Lost Ark. I think it's right in that same category where, like, can you play the game free to play? Yeah, you can. You can definitely do that. And that's what I see so far is, like, if I want to ignore all this stuff, like, let's just say I would just say anybody would spend like $20 on a game, right? Like that's pretty average. So I spent $25 already. I'm gonna just probably leave it at this, and I'm gonna play the game, and I'm gonna see if I run into any sort of wall that's gonna stop me from, I don't know, progressing past where other people that are spending a lot of money are. So we'll go ahead and check that out, and I'll let you guys know how that plays out in the future. So I don't know the full details of it, but it does seem a bit like a bit pay to win. So I would say a little bit of caution if that's something you're not interested in. If you really hate that aspect, that's probably not for you. But if you just want to play for yourself and you don't care what other people are doing, this game is definitely fun. And we'll go ahead and get into that because we'll look at some of the gameplay. So for that, we'll go ahead and teleport, and I'm going to do my bounty here, if I can get my thing to work. But that's probably what we'll do. We'll probably go and check out this bounty, and we'll see how it works. And we will give you an example of like some daily activity that you'll be doing within the game. So there's a few different zones, and this is going to be a bounty within the zone, so it's going to point me to an area, and it wants me to do something. So I'll be doing two things at the same time here. I'll be doing a bounty, which is just killing monsters in the area, and I will also be doing that bestiary thing that we talked about before, which is just hunting monster essence and just killing any monsters, really. So I did pick the Necromancer, so I have a lot of summons. I've really been enjoying that. It feels a bit strong, to be honest. It feels like my summons can solo a lot of the stuff that's coming my way, and they offer me a lot of protection. So that's definitely something to see. When it comes to picking classes, I know there's a few other cool classes like the Crusader and the Barbarian. They also have a Wizard, as well as a Monk and a Demon Hunter. So it's really going to be what's your play style. Like, do you like damage? Do you like support? Do you like tanking? I think all the classes are pretty strong, maybe with the exception of the Wizard looking a little bit weaker than the other ones. But the Demon Hunter has a lot of DPS. Crusader, I know, is very good. Barb is solid and very strong in PvP, and there is definitely a lot of I don't know. I think the Necromancer is the most underrated. Like he seems very powerful, and I don't know why a lot of people are not talking about it. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it'll change later on down the line, because the legendary items and the gems do seem to change the gameplay quite a lot. So we'll see how that goes into the future. But yeah, I'm just kind of waiting on some spawns here because it looks like there's a lot of people roaming around. And that's one thing I did notice on this game. I see a lot of people in the open world, and these packs of monsters are respawning like instantly because other players are killing them in different areas along the map. So it very much feels like an MMO for sure. Like it's very big MMO feel, which I like about it. You know, I don't like when you're just playing by yourself off in a secluded corner and you never see another player, right? It feels like a one-player game at that point, which is you know, not something you want to see coming from any sort of MMO-style game. But we'll kill a few more monsters here. Looks like we're collecting this fur. We are almost done with that down. Oops. 17, so we're getting really close here. There are a lot of bosses, and I do have gameplay footage from that, from the 8-player raid that I did. So I'll probably go ahead and release that and kind of show you guys like what's going on with that. I think that's the more intriguing part because, you know, this is just kind of doing farming and dailies, but you can see like, you know, you tap to move if you're on mobile. You have like, it's pretty intuitive mobile aiming, so I did like that about the game. And on PC, it definitely seems pretty smooth. Sometimes I have issues with navigation, like auto-pathing and navigation, but it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal.
The balance.
Something that'll probably be fixed here pretty soon.
Preserved.
So that's pretty much going to be it for this kind of general gameplay section, but it's a lot of like aiming and targeting type moves, so you can command and do skill shots mostly, but a lot of it auto tracks, so it makes it very simplistic because the game was designed for mobile to begin with, right? So it's something that that definitely lends itself to be friendly to newer players or friendly to the limitations of the mobile version of the game, right? Because there are limitations from the game. So that's going to be it for this one. All in all, I think Diablo Immortal is a pretty good game. It definitely has some elements of pay to win, so you may want to be cautioned before you know, dive really hardcore into that. But if you're looking for a game to play with your friends, if you are looking for a game that is new and up and coming, this is definitely something that I would check out. I'm interested in the PvP and how that goes, and I'm going to go as hard as I can as a free-to-play player. Well, not free-to-play. I would say I've already spent 25 bucks, so I will say as a normal player playing the game, right? Like just buying a battle pass and a daily login thing, just the basic stuff, and I'm going to see how far I can go, see if I can compete against these mega whales, and how that all plays out. Alright, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching the video, everyone. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button if you have not already. We also have a Discord and social medias down below, so you can check out those links and you can keep up to date with what I am doing. Thanks for your time, and we will catch you in the next video.